Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that's, I think, really important for any Marine out there, and that's MCDP 4, specifically Chapter 3, the Logistics Enterprise.
So
Yeah.
logistics, I mean, when I hear that word, I think of like spreadsheets and supply convoys and things like that. What am I missing here?
Well, I think it's easy to kind of get that impression, but really when we're talking about logistics, we're talking about the backbone of the Marine Corps, the
Mhm.
entire system that allows the Marine Corps to project power anywhere in the world.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
Yeah,
this is much more than just, making sure that the beans and bullets show up.
absolutely.
Okay, all right. So MCDP 4 actually says that logistics becomes, in fact, the very core of generalship.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's a pretty bold statement.
it is.
Why is logistics so central to the Marine Corps' way of war?
Well, I think that what's fascinating here is MCDP 4 really emphasizes that logistics isn't just about keeping the gears turning. It's about enabling maneuver warfare,
Hmm.
that rapid, flexible, and aggressive style of fighting that the Marine Corps is known for.
Right.
Uh,
It's not just about having enough, but it's about having them in the right place at the right time to support those decisive maneuvers.
yeah,
That makes a lot more sense.
exactly.
Okay. So MCDP 4 also talks about a DAF. It goes beyond just the Marine Corps, right?
It does.
It mentions a joint logistics enterprise.
hmm
What exactly does that mean?
So think about it like this. You're deployed overseas. You need a whole lot more than just what the Marine Corps can provide. You're relying on support from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, and even external partners. And the Joint Logistics Enterprise brings all these players together.
Okay, so it's like a massive
It is a massive collaborative effort.
collaborative effort, gotcha. But how does that actually play out in the real world? MCDP 4 breaks things down by levels of warfare too, right?
Yeah, that's right. Tactical, operational, and strategic. What's really key here is that MCDP 4 stresses how interconnected these levels are. Decisions that are made at the strategic level thousands of miles away have a direct impact on you at the tactical level.
So what happens in Washington impacts what happens on the
Exactly.
front lines. Okay, so let's start with the one that's closest to the Marines on the ground. Tactical logistics. What does that entail?
So, at the tactical level, we're talking about providing direct support to the forces that are engaged in combat. Think resupply of ammunition, fuel, food, water,
Yeah.
medical evacuation equipment, maintenance, even handling casualties.
Okay, so basically everything that's needed to keep Marines in the fight and prevent what NCDP 4 calls a premature culminating point.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
So, think of it as running out of steam before you've achieved your objective. History is full of examples where logistical failures led to defeat, even when armies had superior numbers or technology. If we think back to Russia in World War I, or even China in the Korean War. They had huge armies, but poor logistics really hampered their ability to sustain operations.
Wow. So they may have had the numbers,
Yeah,
but they couldn't keep up
they couldn't keep up.
because of logistics. Okay, that's a really good illustration. So MCDP 4 stresses the importance of robust tactical logistics.
Yeah.
All right, let's move up a level to operational logistics.
Okay.
What changes at this level?
So if tactical logistics is about sustaining the fight, operational logistics is about setting the stage for those fights to happen. We're establishing the infrastructure, the transportation networks,
Yeah.
and sourcing arrangements
Yeah.
that are needed to support entire campaigns.
So things like setting up forward operating bases,
Hmm.
securing regional contracts for supplies, figuring out how to move troops and equipment within the theater of operations.
Exactly. Operational logistics bridges the gap between those high-level strategic goals and what you're actually doing on the ground.
So between strategic and tactical.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And finally, we reach the strategic level. What's the scope here?
So strategic logistics takes us to the national and global level. We're talking about long-term planning and resource allocation, building and maintaining the infrastructure that supports the entire Marine Corps, acquiring major weapon systems, managing the global supply chain,
Yeah.
projecting forces across continents.
Wow. That's a lot. Who are the key players involved in this strategic level?
So it starts with the Commandant of the Marine Corps, who is responsible for making sure that the Marine Corps is equipped and ready for any contingency. Then you have the Department of Defense. Agencies like U.S. Transportation Command and the Defense Logistics Agency, the vast network of the Defense Industrial Base, and even academia plays a role.
Hold on. Academia. What do universities have to do
Right.
with strategic logistics?
You might be surprised. Universities conduct vital research, develop new technologies, and contribute to cutting-edge logistical concepts. Think about things like advanced materials for lighter gear, more efficient energy sources, or even AI-powered logistics management systems.
Okay, that makes sense. Keeping up with the latest tech is crucial
Absolutely.
in today's world. What about allies and partners? I imagine they play a pretty significant role, especially in overseas operations.
Allies are absolutely critical, especially in today's interconnected world. They can provide access to bases, support transportation efforts, offer local sourcing options for supplies, and even contribute to maintenance and repair. Think about if you're operating in a coalition environment. You might be relying on your allies for fuel, food, or even medical support.
Yeah, that would be invaluable,
Yeah.
especially when you're operating far from home. So
Mm.
we're talking about a truly global network here, a collaboration between the Marine Corps, other U.S. military branches, government agencies, academia, international partners.
It's a complex web of relationships and capabilities all working together to ensure that you, the Marine on the ground, has what you need to accomplish the mission.
Wow. Okay. That's incredible. This has already been really eye-opening, and I feel like we've only just scratched the surface here. So let's unpack this joint logistics enterprise a little bit further. Who specifically does what within this massive system?
That's a great question, and I think that's where we'll dive in next. Let's start with the Marine Corps' specific role within this larger system.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, so we've established that this joint logistics enterprise is this massive team effort. But let's break it down a bit. What are the Marine Corps' specific responsibilities within this larger network?
Well, as we touched on before, the Commandant of the Marine Corps is ultimately responsible for ensuring that the Corps is ready to fight and win. And that means overseeing everything from the training and equipping of Marines to developing doctrine and planning for future operations. And when it comes to logistics, the Commandant's focus is largely on the strategic level.
Gotcha. So the Commandant's focused on the big picture, setting the overall direction for Marine Corps logistics.
Exactly. The Commandant sets priorities, allocates resources, and ensures that the Marine Corps logistics system is aligned with national strategic goals. That means making sure that the Corps has the right weapon systems, enough equipment in its inventory, and the infrastructure to support it all.
Wow. So the Commandant has their hands full,
Oh, yeah.
keeping all of that going. So what about those other players that we talked about, like the Department of Defense and the various agencies within it? How do they fit into the picture?
So think of the Department of Defense and its agencies as providing specialized expertise and support on a global scale. Um, Take U.S. Transportation Command, for example. They handle the incredibly complex task of strategic lift, moving troops and equipment across oceans and continents. Now, that's a crucial capability for the Marine Corps, which is often called upon to deploy rapidly to far-flung corners of the world.
So they're the ones who make sure that you can get your boots on the ground wherever they're needed.
Exactly.
Okay. What about the Defense Logistics Agency? What's their role?
So the Defense Logistics Agency, or DLA, is like a massive warehouse and distribution network for the entire military. They manage a truly staggering amount of material, from fuel and spare parts to medical supplies and construction materials. You name it, they probably have it.
Wow. So the DLA plays a vital role in making sure that you have the supplies you need when and where you need them.
Absolutely. And it's not just about having stuff on hand, it's about managing that entire supply chain from procurement and storage to distribution and disposal.
It's like a giant, well-oiled machine, keeping the gears turning across the entire military. All right. So we talked about international partners before. Can you elaborate on their role a little bit? In this logistics enterprise, it seems like MCDP-4 really stresses the importance of allies and partnerships.
Oh, allies and partners are absolutely critical, especially in today's interconnected world. They can provide access to bases, support transportation efforts, offer local sourcing options for supplies, and even contribute to maintenance and repair. So, think about it. If you're operating in a coalition environment, you might be relying on your allies for fuel, food, or even medical support.
Right. So leveraging each other's strengths and working together to achieve a common goal.
That's exactly right. MCDP-4 stresses the importance of building those strong relationships with allies and partners, not just during wartime, but also in peacetime. Trust and cooperation are absolutely essential for effective logistical collaboration.
So it's about investing in those relationships over the long haul,
It is.
working together to build a more secure and stable world. Makes sense.
And it's not just about asking for help either. Partnerships are a two-way street. The Marine Corps also provides logistical support to allies and partners when needed. It's a give-and-take relationship built on shared interests and values.
Gotcha. So This whole discussion has really highlighted the complexity and the global scope of this joint logistics enterprise. It's like a giant web connecting people, organizations, and resources across the entire world.
It really is.
That's amazing.
And MCDP-4 provides a really valuable framework for understanding how all these pieces fit together. But there's one more critical element I think we need to discuss: the defense industrial base.
Ah, yes, the defense industrial base. This is where all the cool toys come from. The tanks, the planes, the ships, and all the other equipment that makes the Marine Corps such a formidable force.
That's right. The defense industrial base is that entire ecosystem of companies, factories, research labs, and universities that are involved in designing, developing, producing, and maintaining all the gear that the Marine Corps relies on.
So it's not just about building stuff. It's about the cutting-edge research and development that goes into creating new technologies and making sure that existing equipment stays in tip-top shape.
Exactly. The defense industrial base is constantly evolving to meet the changing needs of the Marine Corps and the broader military. And MCDP-4 emphasizes the importance of a strong and resilient defense industrial base, both domestically and through partnerships with international allies.
Yeah, I can see why that would be crucial. We live in a world of rapidly advancing technology, and the battlefield is more complex than ever. The Marine Corps needs to be able to adapt and stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. The defense industrial base plays a critical role in ensuring that the Marine Corps has that technological edge it needs to succeed in any conflict. Think about things like cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, autonomous systems. These are all areas where the defense industrial base is pushing the boundaries of innovation.
Wow, okay, so we've gone from the strategic level all the way down to the nuts and bolts of the defense industrial base. And we've seen how all these different pieces come together to form this incredible logistical machine. But before we wrap up, there's one more thing I want to explore a little bit. MCDP-4 keeps emphasizing that logistics isn't just about moving stuff around. It's about enabling maneuver warfare. Can you elaborate on that concept a little bit?
Yeah, you're right. That's a key takeaway from MCDP-4. It's not just about keeping the troops supplied. It's about supporting the Marine Corps ability to operate with speed, agility, and flexibility. Maneuver warfare is all about seizing the initiative, disrupting the enemy, and dictating the terms of the battle.
Okay. So logistics plays a critical role in allowing the Marine Corps to be that unpredictable, rapidly maneuvering force that it's known for.
Exactly. Imagine trying to conduct a rapid flanking maneuver or a surprise attack if your supply lines are slow, unreliable, or easily disrupted. It would be nearly impossible. Effective logistics is what allows the Marine Corps to move quickly, strike decisively, and maintain the momentum in a fight.
So it's the engine that drives maneuver warfare. Without it, you're stuck in neutral.
That's a perfect analogy. And MCDP-4 highlights specific examples of how logistics supports maneuver warfare, such as the use of forward staging areas, pre-positioning of supplies, and the development of flexible and responsive transportation networks.
Okay, so it's not just about having enough stuff. It's about having the right stuff in the right place at the right time.
Exactly.
And that requires a deep understanding of the operational environment and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances.
That's precisely. And that's where the principles outlined in MCDP-4 become so important. It's about planning coordination, anticipating needs, and being adaptable to whatever challenges come your way.
Okay, so this whole discussion has really driven home the point that logistics is absolutely essential to everything the Marine Corps does. It's not just about beans, bullets, and bandages. It's about enabling the Marine Corps to fight and win wars.
Could have said it better myself. MCDP-4 provides an invaluable framework for understanding the complexities of the joint logistics enterprise and how it supports the Marine Corps mission. But remember, it's not just a document to read and forget. It's a call to action for all Marines to be logistically minded.
That's a powerful message. So it means understanding how your actions, no matter how small they seem, contribute to the overall success of the force, whether you're maintaining your gear, conserving resources, or just being aware of the importance of logistical planning. You're part of that logistical machine.
Absolutely. Every Marine, regardless of their MOS or rank, plays a role in ensuring that that logistical machine runs smoothly. And that can make all the difference on the battlefield.
That's a really good point. All right. Well, this has been a fantastic deep dive into MCDP-4 and the world of military logistics. It's certainly an often overlooked but absolutely vital aspect of warfare. I feel like I've gained a much deeper appreciation for the complexities and the challenges involved, but also for the incredible ingenuity and dedication of the people who make it all work.
It has been a fascinating conversation, and it's been great to see your enthusiasm for this topic. And I hope this deep dive has provided you with some valuable insights that you can carry with you throughout your time in the Marine Corps.
Oh, it definitely has. But before we wrap up completely, I want to get your thoughts on one final question. MCDP4 spends some time looking ahead, discussing the future of logistics and how emerging technologies like AI and automation might impact the Marine Corps' ability to operate in these increasingly complex environments. What are your thoughts on that? It seems like a pretty big deal.
It is a big deal. And it's a question that is being seriously considered at the highest levels of the Department of Defense. Imagine a world where autonomous drones deliver supplies to remote outposts. AI systems optimize supply chains in real time. And robotic systems handle the loading and unloading of ships and aircraft.
That sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie. But it also seems like it could be incredibly beneficial, especially in situations where traditional logistics might be too slow or risky.
Exactly. These emerging technologies have the potential to revolutionize military logistics, making it faster, more efficient, and more resilient. But there are also challenges to consider. For instance, cybersecurity becomes absolutely paramount when you're relying on these complex automated systems.
So it's not just about embracing new technology for technology's sake. It's about carefully considering the implications and ensuring that these technologies are used responsibly.
Precisely. And that's where ongoing research development and open dialogue become so crucial. The Marine Corps is actively exploring these emerging technologies and working to develop the doctrine, training, and infrastructure needed to integrate them effectively.
Okay. So it's exciting to think about the future of logistics and how these innovations might shape the Marine Corps of tomorrow. It's clear that MCDP-4 isn't just a static document. It's a living framework that evolves along with the challenges and opportunities of the modern world.
Absolutely. And it's a testament to the Marine Corps commitment to adapting, innovating, and staying ahead of the curve. But no matter how much technology advances, the core principles of logistics will always remain the same: planning, preparation, and a relentless focus on supporting the warfighter.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. We've covered a lot of ground today, diving deep into MCDP-4 and exploring the fascinating world of the Joint Logistics Enterprise. I hope this deep dive has been valuable for you, giving you a better understanding of the crucial role that logistics plays in everything the Marine Corps does.
It's been my pleasure to join you on this journey. And thank you for your service. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and stay logistically minded. It could very well be the key to your success on the battlefield.
And as always, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration of the ideas and issues shaping our world. Until then, stay curious.
Yeah, it really is mind-blowing to think about how technology could, transform logistics in the coming years. But even with all these advancements, it seems like MCDP-4 makes it clear that the human element is still at the heart of it all.
Oh, absolutely. Technology is a tool, a very powerful tool, but it's the Marines themselves who make it all work. And MCDP-4 talks about the importance of logistically minded Marines, regardless of their specific job or their rank.
So what does it mean to be logistically minded?
Well, it's about understanding the importance of logistics, not just for your own unit, but for the entire Marine Corps. It's about being mindful of resource consumption, taking care of your equipment, and thinking ahead about those logistical challenges that you might face.
It's about taking ownership, understanding that logistics isn't just someone else's problem. Exactly. Every Marine has a role to play in making sure that logistical machine runs smoothly. Even something as simple as properly maintaining your gear can have a ripple effect throughout the entire system.
Yeah, that's a great point. Taking pride in your equipment, knowing that it might make the difference between mission success and failure.
Absolutely. And it's about thinking ahead, anticipating those potential logistical challenges, and coming up with creative solutions. In the chaos of combat, adaptability and resourcefulness are essential.
So MCDP-4 is encouraging Marines to be proactive, not just reactive,
Well,
when it comes to logistics.
exactly. Taking initiative, identifying potential problems before they become major obstacles, and coming up with solutions that keep the mission moving forward.
And so this whole conversation has really highlighted the fact that logistics is everyone's responsibility in the Marine Corps. It's not just about the folks in the supply chain. It's about every Marine doing their part to ensure that logistical machine runs smoothly.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Whether you're a grunt on the front lines or a pilot in the air, understanding and applying those principles of MCDP-4 can really be the key to success.
Well, I think we've successfully navigated this deep dive into MCDP-4 and the world of military logistics. It's certainly been an eye-opening experience for me, and I hope it has been for you as well.
Well, it's been a pleasure to explore this topic with you.
Oh,
And it's clear that you've gained a deep appreciation for the vital role logistics plays in the Marine Corps.
I definitely have. And to all the Marines listening out there, thank you for your service. Keep those principles of MCDP-4 in mind. Stay logistically minded. And never underestimate the importance of a well-oiled logistical machine.
And until next time, on the deep dive, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking those tough questions.